Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Grow with Aziza. Today, we are talking about something that many people secretly struggle with, which is feeling lost. Not knowing what you are doing, not knowing where you are going, and not knowing what your purpose is. So basically, you wake up in the morning and feel unmotivated. You compare yourself to other people. You see others succeeding, building careers, making money, starting businesses, improving their health, learning new skills, and moving forward. Meanwhile, you feel stuck. You keep asking yourself, what am I doing with my life? Why does everyone else seem to know what they are doing except me? How do I become disciplined when I don't even know what direction I'm supposed to go? And that's exactly what we are going to discuss today. Because many people believe that discipline comes after finding purpose. But the truth is often the opposite. Discipline is what actually helps you discover your purpose, not the other way around. And if you stay until the end of this episode, you will learn why discipline is not something you are born with. It is actually something you build even when life feels confusing. The first thing that we need to talk about is this: feeling lost is more common than you think. Well, honestly speaking, one of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they are the only ones who feel lost, but they are not. Many successful people felt lost before they found their way. Many entrepreneurs had no idea what business they wanted. Many professionals changed careers multiple times or even more. Many content creators started without knowing what content they wanted to create. Many students graduate without knowing what they truly want to do. So, feeling lost doesn't mean you are failing, it means you are human. But the problem isn't feeling lost. The problem is staying lost. Why? Because you are waiting for clarity before taking action. And most people think this way. Most people think that they find a purpose, then they will become disciplined. But that is rarely how life works. Why? Because usually discipline comes first, not the purpose. And then clarity comes later. So you might be wondering, like, why discipline feels impossible when you are lost. Well, let's be honest. It is so hard to stay motivated when you don't know what you are working toward. It is difficult to wake up excited when you are unsure about the future. When people feel lost, they often experience lack of motivation, procrastination, overthinking, self doubt, low confidence, anxiety about the future, and comparing themselves to others. And because they feel lost, they stop taking action. Then, because they stop taking action, they feel even more lost. It's actually a cycle. The less you do, the worse you feel. And the worse you feel, the less you do. And before you know it, weeks, months, or even years pass by without taking action. So, what you need to do in this case, you need to stop looking for your passion and take action. Well, I know this advice might surprise you, but honestly speaking, you really need to stop obsessing over finding your passion. Seriously, you need to stop obsessing over finding your passion and just take action. Because the thing is that people spend years trying to discover their one true purpose. But purpose isn't usually found, it is built. So, most people actually don't magically discover their passion one morning. What they do is that they experiment different things, they try different things, they fail, but they learn. Then they try to adjust. After that, they keep moving, and eventually, they find something meaningful in the end. So imagine someone who wants to maybe improve their life, all right? So instead of taking action, they spend years watching videos about purpose or maybe reading books about purpose, thinking about purpose, waiting for purpose. But what happened? They never actually do anything. Why? Because they are waiting for the purpose to come to them. But when you look at another person actually starts trying different things. They start taking action. They start learning skills. They start taking courses. They start with projects. Maybe they volunteer. Maybe they start networking. Maybe they start practicing. So, in the end, who do you think will actually find direction faster? Of course, the person who takes action, not the person who still waits for the purpose to come. So this is what you need to do. You need to start with action. It's okay even if you have no idea about the type of action you want to take. Just do. Try different things. It's okay. Because we are here in this life to try. We are not born with purpose. Seriously, we are not born with purpose. So, what you need to do is that you need to keep on trying different things until you find your real passion. And it's okay, by the way, to spend time trying. There is no harm. You should not look at those who reached or who found their purpose because these people actually went through a lot of dramas in their lives, but maybe they don't show that. Maybe they don't speak about the dramas they went through. They simply show the end result. And that is why you feel maybe lost. Sometimes you start comparing yourself to others and you wonder why they found their way, but you are still trying to look for something. Why? Because they started before you. So that is why I always advise people to focus on their own journey. Really, focusing on your own journey is the healing process, is the first step that you need to take. Because if you keep on comparing yourself to others, you will not take any action. Really, you will not take any action if you keep on comparing yourself to others. Well, I know comparison is good sometimes because sometimes when you don't have any motivation to focus on your action, you look at those who started, and in this case, you might get some motivation. I do the same, by the way. Sometimes I don't have motivation to study or to even work, but when I look at my friends or my classmates who did something, they kind of give me some motivation to start as well. Because we are humans. There are days when we feel motivated, and there are days when we feel unmotivated. We feel stuck. We feel like our brain doesn't work anymore. We feel like we don't understand anything. That's okay. What you need to do is that when you are experiencing some difficulties, take it easy. Do not push yourself. Do not force yourself so hard. Take it easy. Let's say, for example, you have a project, right? And the deadline is maybe approaching the corner. So you feel unmotivated. So what you need to do is that maybe you can take your laptop and work in a cafe. because sometimes seeing other people with their laptops that can somehow motivate you, or maybe start with drafting the ideas, or maybe um, go to the library, or maybe you can work with your colleagues, something like that, all right? But when you are motivated, then when you are motivated, you are there. You need to work to reach the summit of your plan. You need to work until you reach the summit of your plan. So this is the thing. When you are motivated, work more. When you don't have motivation, when you are less motivated, work less. But do not stop. This is my advice to you. Right? Seriously, do not stop. Work less, but do not stop. Why? Because discipline is about keeping promises to yourself. If you promise yourself to finish the project before the deadline, this is a promise. And what you need to do is that you need to have a discipline. So, how is that possible? As I said, you need to work on your project. If you are motivated, work a lot. If you have less motivation, work less, but you need to continue working on the project until you finish it. And the same thing goes to other habits, maybe other building habits. Like, let's say, for example, you want to finish reading one book in a week, for example. When you are motivated, try to try to read a lot of pages. But when you have less motivation, maybe you can try to read one page, for example. Or maybe you can go outside and read more. Or maybe you can go to the library, or you can go to a cafe and read more. So what you need to do is that you need to have a discipline. All right? This is really important. So, in this case, when you have discipline, you will not be waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel motivated. And this is actually where many people struggle with. They think, I will start when I feel motivated. But motivation is unreliable, as I said. Some days you feel motivated, other days you won't. So, if your success depends on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. And here comes the power of small daily habits. One reason people fail is because they try to change everything at once. They create maybe unrealistic goals. Like, for example, they will say, tomorrow I want to wake up early morning. I want to exercise. I want to study for 2 hours. I want to read books. I want to meditate. I want to learn new skills. I want to build a business, and the list goes on. Then what happened? After maybe 2 or 3 days, they quit. Why? Because the plan was too big. Real discipline starts small, very small. Maybe you can start with 1 page or 5 pages, for example. Or maybe you can walk for 10 minutes instead of the whole morning. Or maybe you can learn one skill instead of many skills. Seriously, start small, all right? Because small actions feel easy. Easy actions get repeated. Repeated actions become habits, and habits create discipline. So, whenever you feel lost, remember this simple formula. Don't focus on your entire life, focus on today. Don't focus on the next 10 years, focus on just the next hour, or maybe focus on this particular hour. Don't focus on finding purpose. Focus on building habits. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on consistency. And most importantly, don't focus on feeling ready. Focus on taking action. So, here's the message for anyone feeling lost right now. Maybe you are listening to this episode because you genuinely feel lost. Maybe you are questioning your career. Maybe you are struggling with motivation. Maybe you are trying to rebuild your life. Maybe you are stuck in a phase where nothing feels certain. If that's you, I want you to remember something. You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need your entire future figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. What you need is movement, small movement, in very small movement, but they need to be consistent, consistent movement. Why? Because every step teaches you something, and every lesson brings you closer to clarity. So, my final thoughts to you is this: the truth is that discipline is not about becoming perfect. It is actually about showing up when you don't feel like it. It is about taking action even when you are confused. It is about moving forward even when the way is not completely clear. Most people actually wait until they feel confident. Most people wait until they feel motivated. Most people wait until they know exactly what they want. But the people who grow, they start before they feel ready. So if you feel lost today, don't panic, don't quit, and don't assume you are behind. Just focus on the next step. Just focus on building one habit, one promise, one action, and one day at a time, because a discipline doesn't require certainty, it only requires commitment. And often, the path becomes clear only after you have started working on it. Seriously, this is the only thing that you need to do. So, thank you so much for listening. And remember, you don't find direction by standing still, you find direction by moving. So, this is basically everything that I thought of sharing with you. If you feel that someone else needs to listen to today's episode, feel free to share this episode with everyone who needs to listen to. Thank you so much once again. Please subscribe to the channel so you won't. If you have other topics that you want me to talk about, please let me know down below in the comments. Also, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Thank you so much once again, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a great day and take care. Bye bye.